Good day, guys. Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show. I'm glad to have you guys here now. I want to talk about where we are right now with Bitcoin and what's happening in the world. You know, trade tariffs. They're talking about doing trade tariffs now on $300 billion more goods coming into the United States. 25% across the board on all these items. Everything from shoes to pencils to food items too. Yeah, right. Anything coming from China, 25% across the board. Now you have to understand something about all this. Picture your retail store in the United States, and about half of the merchandise in your store is Chinese goods. All of a sudden, all those goods go up 25% in price. All the Chinese goods in your store. Well, how does this apply to Bitcoin? I'm getting there. Just give me a minute. So, 25% across the board on all these Chinese goods in your store. Okay? Like you're not going to mark everything up 25%. Suddenly, all these goods over here on this aisle are marked up 25%. Well, what about the American-made goods that are mixed like in here and there? Like you might go down, you might see a pair of shoes that are Chinese, and right next to them are American socks. So you mark all the shoes up 25%, or maybe more, in your store. Of course, you're going to mark the socks up too, even though they're made in America. And just this is what retailers do. So you're going to see not just Chinese goods go up in price. You're going to see the American goods go up in price too. And this is going to now once you start to pay more for all these other items in your life, they're going to mark your food up, too, in price. It's going to raise the general level of inflation. This basically is the dollar taking a 25% depreciation in its purchasing power. Boom! Like that. In the up-and-coming weeks. This is real. It's happening in real time. It's happening right now while we speak. You're going to see the dollar lose 25% of its purchasing power in America. You're going to see prices go up 25% on everything. Boom! This means this is basically like an enormous, giant American bail-in. Look at it this way. Your money that you have in the bank, you just lost 25% of it. Because now you can't buy 25% less than you could buy yesterday with your dollar. Right? How does that affect Bitcoin? Well, suddenly, it means Bitcoin's 25% cheaper if Bitcoin stays the same price. If Bitcoin stays right now at $8,000, it means actually because your purchasing power has just been lost on your dollar. You've just lost 25% of the purchasing power on your dollar. It basically means Bitcoin, first off, 25% cheaper. But it also means that we're moving toward this profound inflation that I've been talking about for ages. And this is a driver behind Bitcoin. This is why people want Bitcoin. They want to get something that's appreciating in value, going up in value. The dollar just got chopped 25%. Is that going to give people confidence in holding all of their money in dollars? Or is it going to make them a little bit more shaky and more unstable feeling about the dollar? I mean, this is like a bank bail-in where they give you a haircut. You know? This is basically everyone in America is going to take a 25% haircut. This means that your salary, they're saying that the average American consumer is going to lose probably a couple $1,000s a year. It's going to take more. It's going to take a couple $1,000s a year more income just to live at the same level you were living before. They're probably underestimating it because they're probably estimating that only on Chinese goods, as if the stores are going to mark all the Chinese goods up 25% and they're not going to touch any of the other goods in the store. We all know that ain't going to happen. They're going to mark everything up 25%. Everything's going to start to inflate now. It's here. Inflation is here. Inflation just landed. It just landed on our shores, and this is going to help drive cryptocurrency because people are starting to look for a way out. People are starting, the smart people first. The stupid people, they'll sit there and leave their dollars in the bank until the dollars have appreciated to zero. But the smart people out there are saying, hey, you know what? Everything just went up 25% in price, and I got all these dollars in the bank. I better look for some way of protecting my funds from inflation. Otherwise, it's going to chew my funds until I'm not going to have nothing left. Nothing. Okay. It's going to have an effect on Bitcoin. So now I'm going to get to the meat of this particular episode. And let's get the chart started. Where's my charts? Okay, hold on. Just give me a second. There we go. Okay. I got the chart started. Now, first thing we're going to take a look at is cryptocurrency market capitalizations. And I see a good sign for Bitcoin in the fact that the Bitcoin dominance is now falling. It's down to 57.6%. Let me refresh the page because this thing's moving so fast. 57.4%. $246.9 billion in market cap on the coins. And what we're seeing here is Bitcoin staying at $8,000. But we're seeing these other coins starting to creep upwards, especially Litecoin right now. Litecoin's 94.70, and she's on a tear. XRP is on a tear too. It's up to 43 cents. Ethereum's on a tear at $236. You know, quite seriously, if you go back about 2 or 3 weeks ago when I was doing this show, you just about doubled your money. On it doesn't matter what one of these top coins you bought, you just about doubled your money. All these other people, you know, out there who laugh at cryptocurrency and stuff, you know, they're not going to be laughing pretty soon. They're going to be hopping on board. Because where else can you double your money in 2 or 3 weeks? Where else? All these other things, everything else is flatlined and it's dead. You know, cryptocurrency's alive, and the driving force behind cryptocurrency is all the technology that's behind it. And also the fact that everything else is dead. It's the only thing that's alive. It's going to be noticed more and more and more. And the more it's noticed, the more people come into it. And the more people come into it, the faster it moves. It's just like, it's one thing that's alive in a system that's dying. It's like, you don't care. If your ship is sinking, if you're out in the ocean and a ship is sinking, and somebody throws you something that's floating on the water, you don't care what it is, you're going to grab a hold of it at a certain point. I mean, you're not going to care anymore. You're like, everything else is sinking, I'm going to grab that life preserver. It doesn't matter to me if that life preserver is covered in doggy poo. You know? I don't want to drown. And that's the way with this system right now. Everything is sinking except for cryptocurrencies. It's like that life preserver that's floating. And they're going to start to jump on board. You know, they're all like rats coming off of a sinking ship, is the old saying. Anyway, so where are we right now at this particular time with cryptocurrency? And this is important to know, and this chart's very simple. You know what this chart is. This is the cryptocurrency chart going back in history to the last big boom and bust cycle we had, where it ran all the way up to like $20,000. Okay, this is it right here. Okay, but I want you to look at something in particular very, very carefully. Look at this run-up we just had. Massive run-up. And it reminds you of the run-ups we had leading into the 20,000. Now, go back a little bit and take a look at this run-up. We'll focus the charts right in on this run-up right here in particular. I want you to look at it very carefully. Just let me get the chart down to the right spot so you can see this run-up we just had. Okay? Now, I want you to focus on this. I'm going to move this a little bit. Let's give me a second. I'll be able to grab it. If it's narrow, I have a hard time grabbing it. There we go. Whoop. Having trouble grabbing this. There's no place to grab it to move it. I have to expand it out a little bit wider if I can here. There we go. That should be there. We can grab it now. Okay, so now I want you to focus on this. Now these were the lead-ins going in to the massive run up to $20,000. Now you notice what it does? it does this giant leap up in price. Take a close look right here at this one right here, when it was leading into the 20,000. And notice we had this giant lead in price, something similar to what we just had. And it went all the way up to about just around $3,000 right there. And then look what it did. It dropped back down again. It dropped back down to about $1,700, you know? And then we had another one, another run up. And it ran all the way up to about 4,400, 4,500, and then what did it do? It dropped back down again to 3,400. These are lead-ins to the massive increase in price that came later, you know? Now, this is doing exactly the same thing again. It's doing it all over again. This is the same sort of a lead-in, and now it's stopped. It's stopped. It's getting ready to drop back. I would say it's probably going to drop back to about maybe, I'm just going to estimate probably 6,500. It's going to drop back. It's at 8,000 right now. It's going to probably drop back to about 6,500. That's typical for what it does when it's leading into. If you look back here, you can see it's typical for it to drop back. It goes up, drops back. Goes up, drops back. It does that 2 or 3 times. And this is the first run. Now, by this first run, you can see that we're leading into one mega mountain. It's going to be much bigger than the last one, than the last time. And so I'm expecting a drop off probably in down here in the mid 6,000s and for a week or two or maybe a month, you know. And then the next one, she's probably going to shoot up here and probably up around 14,000, 15,000 range, maybe 12,000 on the next one after it's done this one. So you're going to get a little buying opportunity in here around 6,500. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for that buying opportunity around 6,500. I'm going to buy a little bit more when it drops back, you know, because the next time it shoots up, it's probably going to shoot up to about 12 to 14,000, right? But this is the first 2 lead-ins. Now, if you look back here, you see this first lead-in, second lead-in, third lead-in. You get 3 lead-ins roughly on the last big mountain. This was our first lead-in. The next lead-in will probably take us up to around 14,000, and then it'll probably drop back down to about 11,000 or so, you know. And then we'll get the next one that's probably going to take us up past our old high on the next lead-in. So we probably get 3 lead-ins. It's probably going to take it up. The second lead-in will probably take us up over our old high, probably 22,000, 23,000. And we get one more after that, which is probably going to take us up into the 30s or 35,000 or something. And then we're going to get the massive rise in price. Massive rise in price. And I'm expecting it to take us up to maybe $100,000, you know. But that massive rise in price is going to look just like this spike we seen here last time. See this spike we saw here last time that took us up to 20,000? The next one's probably going to take us up to 100,000. And then we're going to fall. And we're going to fall hard. The bubble's going to burst. Okay? If you can time all this right, this is the whole thing. And so you know where we're at right now. We're done this first lead-in. Similar to this one right here that took us up to around $3,000. We're done this first lead-in, and it's taken us up to about 8,000. So this gives you an idea of where we're going with this thing and how high we're going to go. We're going to go massively high because this lead-in took, the first lead-in's taken us to $8,000, and last time the first lead-in only took us to $3,000. Okay, so this is going to be massive. Now the first drop after that first lead-in last time dropped us down to about 1,600. So you can expect this to drop down into the 6,000 range is what I'm expecting in the next week or two. I'm expecting it to drop back down into the 6,000 range and stay there maybe for a month, and then we're going to go into a massive, the second lead-in, which is probably going to take us back past our old highs, you know, and then we're going to have one more after that, which is probably going to take us up double our old high or more, you know, and then we're going to drop off, and then we're going to go into the massive bull run where she goes up every day for weeks, And it's just like everybody's hopping on board. Everybody's trying to ride this train. And I'm thinking $100,000. It's not out of the question on that. And that's when Bitcoin is going to go into the trillions of market cap. Not just 1 trillion, but trillions. You know, with a plural, more than one trillion market capital of the cryptocurrencies. And that's when the whole world's going to start talking, buzz, talking and buying in and starting to collect their own coins and everything else. When it's at its peak, everybody's going to be buying it. When it's at its peak, then she's going to fall. She's going to fall, and she's going to fall hard. So that's where we're at. That's where we're at right now. That's where we're going. That's where I see us going. Now remember something, guys. This is not financial advice. This is absolutely the riskiest investment on earth, cryptocurrencies. Not financial advice. Do not spend more on cryptocurrency than you can afford to lose. You know, it's okay to spend your cigarette money on it, you know, because cigarettes are not good for you anyway. It's okay to spend your lottery money on it because you'll never win that sucker. And this is much higher odds of winning by buying cryptocurrency. You know, it's okay to spend your if you know, money that you can't afford to lose. Don't spend money. Do not go out and max out your credit cards on Bitcoin. I mean, do not do stuff like that, because this stuff is a very volatile, very dangerous asset. You can lose your shirt with it, especially if you don't know how to send Bitcoin back and forth across the network. You could go out and buy $5,000 worth of this stuff and get the wrong address posted to it and have it go off into oblivion. You know? So, do not spend more on this stuff than you can afford to lose. We'll catch you guys in the next show. Have a really nice day. Bye-bye, guys.